All right, good morning, everybody. Here on one of the corners of what I call the little pond. I don't know if y'all remember, but right here at this drainage, we had a major garbage problem here. But it's all good now. Yeah. Had a little effort from the city, or the owners of the property, I think. And then I've been just picking away at it before and after. And everything, here was pretty thrashed with garbage, but now it's not. I've even been able to go back more into, kind of back in here and into the jungle a little more and find more stuff. So if you're familiar with this area, this is the corner of Meridian and Alessandro. We got 2 bags to get started on. Been working on this corner out here on the street. It's gonna get noisy now, so I might not talk as much, but kind of want to see how long does it take to get 2 bags filled up. Shouldn't take very long right here, because as I drive by here a lot, I see that there's a lot of litter starting to pile up again. So here we go. Just kind of got to make our way through here first, get closer to the actual street, and we'll start to find stuff. As is right here, we see. All our morning commuters out here. And here we go. That's that warehouse plastic packaging that you run into a lot when you're around warehouses. This black thing right here is actually a litter guard that's supposed to help stop litter getting through, because this does drain into the pond. So what do we got here? Again, there's no way to get everything, so you get what you can. I try to kind of start biggest to smallest kind of mentality. Things that are really noticeable, just to at least to start to alleviate some of the eyesore aspect. Not too bad. Like I said, I've been picking away at this area for a few weeks. I make it down here probably twice a week on my walks, so it's slowly coming together. Just have to watch. There's a lot of traffic right here on the road. People come blasting through here into the bike lane sometimes, and yeah, they would never expect to see somebody right here, so you kind of gotta compensate for that, not just assume that they're gonna notice you. Some stuff here. It's a lot, so we just get what we can. That's all we do. We just get what we can each time. Figure if I had 2 bags just in this area twice a week, right? Be over 100 bags a year of just these little bags. Sometimes I'll bring out a little bigger bag, like a kitchen bag, for your kitchen trash can. Sometimes. And those are not hard to fill up either, especially when you're in an area where there's a lot of stuff. But again, sometimes just that little bit, like looking back already, it already looks a little better, you know? There's a lot right over here on the other side of this barbed wire fence, which will go back over to that side too. That's not something I'm gonna be able to get right now. But yeah, big believer in a little bit is better than nothing. And that's how I also keep myself from getting discouraged, is just to, you know, realize I'm doing a little bit at a time. I'm gonna wait for a break in the traffic here. You see, that looks a little better. A little better. There's always lots more to do. All right, breaking the traffic. Here's a spot I don't get to too often, because this is probably one of the hairiest spots. People come up here already cutting into the lane because they're going to be making a right at Meridian. So I just wait for the break. Usually get caught by a light somewhere, and that gives me a little break, and then I make a run for it. So I get up on the curb when these cars come by, because they are usually not used to seeing a person out here. The infamous water bottle, maybe the number one offender on a consistent basis is the water bottle. Yeah, a little better. And sometimes we can also start a little stack. I've done that here. Some stuff that's hard to fit into a bag. Looks like Congressman, our representative assembly guy, Mr. Smith, his campaign is over. So his sign has fallen down probably a year or so ago, and never comes back to get it, to pick it up. Tells you a little bit about a person, right? A.J. Smith, District 41. All right, I won't be voting for you, dude, or ma'am. It's kind of like when people do yard sales or garage sales and they put up signs all over the neighborhood, and then they never go back and get them. They just leave them. They eventually blow down from the pole or wherever they put them up on, and then it blows out into the street. Right over there where all those trees are is the little pond. We just came from down there. What's that, about a quarter mile? And we'll continue. Other thing I noticed too is if you really mash down everything in your bag, it's surprising how much you can actually get into one bag. A lot of times I'll actually put it down on the ground, step on it, mash it down really good by stepping on it, and I can get some more. So you don't have to, sometimes people do too much. They're gonna bring a giant bag out, and well, you gotta carry that giant bag too. You gotta carry it somewhere. So that's gonna get pretty heavy. I've done that. And I thought, oh man, what did I get myself into? But I know I'm gonna be back, so That's a big change too. That's a big difference. You know, I don't have to think I got to get all this done today because I'll be back. Hope you all had a good 4th of July. I did. Saw some fireworks. Did a little bit of excitement around. We had a little fire in my neighborhood. One house was caught on fire. And we had one of our hills back here also catch on fire. But neither incident turned into a tragedy. I mean, it's not good, but it could have been a lot worse. A lot of trash up here. Yeah, and just spent the evening with my wife, and went and watched fireworks down close to where my work is. That was pretty cool. Pretty good show in Moreno Valley. Alright, so a lot of you, if you're from Riverside, know where I'm at. The Farmer Boys. I also just built a new Starbucks over here. God knows we need another Starbucks. We need one on both sides of the street. So if you're going west or east, you don't have to turn around or anything. You can just get your Starbucks going either way without inconveniencing you at all. Convenience, big contributor to why society is weak, because of convenience. It's like one of the main things we're so used to. Now we just expect convenience. Every turn we want things to be easy. Easy in the IE. And these big corporate businesses are willing and ready to accommodate your addiction to convenience. A lot of this litter situation is a product of convenience. You know, needing so many things just to be easily gotten to eat or to, you know, anything we buy, we want it to be packaged nicely. And if you really start thinking about it, it's really silly. It's like we are so silly. The things that we've gotten used to having or doing. Let's grab just one little piece of litter right here. So there's a full bag, you know, and we got it maybe, I don't know, say 20% of the litter that was there. 15%. Sometimes the more you start to, you know, pick stuff up, the more you find and realize there's more. Of course, there's always more. You never can think about that. You just think about what you can do, not what, you know, you weren't able to do or whatever. But here's a pretty hefty bag of litter. I'm gonna make my way up Los Angeles now, a little more here, getting closer to my neighborhood. Again, trying to work in the brakes of the traffic because the sun's shining right in people's faces here. It's a pretty cool hat. I bet you somebody just lost that and flew out of their car or something. Yeah, but the sun is shining right in these people's faces right now. And a lot of times, because I can see them really well, because the sun's shining right in their windshield, I can see them on their phones, looking down on their phones and drifting into the bike lane. So if you get a little more guerrilla warfare on your trash situation in your neck of the woods, you have to really become savvy at all these little things to keep yourself safe. I mean, you see what the people that get paid to do this do. They got all kinds of reflective vests and equipment to pick up everything and keep their hands safe and their eyes safe and their ears and noses safe and their feet safe. So they're not just doing that solely to waste our tax dollars. There is some probably smartness involved in that, so these people can stay safe. What I always find is that one of the best things to keep you safe is to be hyper careful. I've known people that have twisted their ankle more times in a year just walking around their own yard than I have in 10 years walking around some of the probably most unstable and weirdest terrain around. But I just feel like I'm always super duper careful, super hypersensitively aware of walking, When I feel something unstable right away under my feet or anything like that, I immediately stop or I adjust. The last thing in the world I want to do is get hurt. I guess I started thinking a lot like that when I started hearing about stories of the Old West or the pioneers and stuff that were out here by themselves, just them and their abilities. That was all they had. No technology. And how crucial it was for them to stay safe, to not get hurt, because all they had to do is get hurt a little bit and they could die. So how did they do it? A lot of them died, of course. A lot of them got hurt and died. But how did the ones that didn't, how did they do it? Well, they were so in tune with everything that they were interacting with, knowing that anything that they were interacting with could potentially hurt them or kill them if they didn't respect it. So that's what it is. It's just respecting, what's around you, what you're interacting with, and realizing that any of those things could cause you some problems, and then those problems could turn into a bigger problem. And I don't really want to attract any attention to myself or use any resources that could be used for somebody else because I was being reckless or just taking for granted that everything's going to be okay. I don't want to do that. Couple cans. It's always beer. Rarely do I find a soda can anymore. Or definitely don't find a soda bottle. For those who know, that is our lovely Sycamore Canyon over there. The mountain bikers, especially of the IE, will know of Sycamore Canyon. They love it. Been battling a serious homeless situation over there for years now. You know, it's just a whack-a-mole situation where you do something to try to deal with it, and it just pops up somewhere else. And it's true everywhere, wherever that situation is. But I think the people that are taking advantage of it the most, the people who enjoy it and used it the most, should try to contribute to monitoring or policing it to some degree, because the worst thing again is over there are just areas where it's just trash. Just trash. I mean, yeah. And it doesn't get better. If you leave it, it doesn't get better. It gets worse. I'm only one person. I would love to be able to work on that. Maybe if I was retired, I would work on that area over there. I'm trying to work on this side of the highway here, because I realize I have to be really consistent to keep it up. I mean, every time I come through here, again, I wind up with a few bags of litter, and I'm only just barely maintaining it. That's not like I'm out here making this place perfect, by no means. Just maintaining it as best as one person can with, what do I have about, I usually walk for about an hour and a half every day, and that's about how much time I have to work on this each day. Everybody, see what you can do. The littlest things help. Pretty little pine tree behind me. Just trying to get a little shade right now. All right, everybody, I haven't made a video in a long time. It's probably kind of a long video, but I thought it's about time I did one. I've been out here every day as usual. Just I don't know. Sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't. I hope everybody has a great week, and yeah, any little bit helps. Do anything. All right. God bless. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.